Hey everyone, my name is Natalie, also known, oh, that's not right. Start over. Hey everyone, it's Natalie, also known as Knitty Natty. Welcome to episode 119 of the Love in Stitches podcast. Today is Wednesday, September 22nd, 2021. I almost just said November. Also, I guess I'm forgetting how I introduced myself. It feels like it's been a long time. In reality, it has been exactly 1 week, like it's always been. I don't know why things feel so different today. Maybe it's because it's the first day of fall, which is really exciting. I know across the country right now in the United States, a lot of people are experiencing their first day of fall weather. Like it just so happened to be that I have a friend in Arkansas who said it was 60 degrees this morning. I was talking to my mom. She's in Tennessee. She said it was rainy and in the 60s. Here in New York, it is sunny and I think it's like 75 degrees. So we have had a few days where in the morning it's been in the 60s, which has been really nice. Overall, mild weather, but not quite, I would say, fall-like just yet. Real quickly, there is going to be no podcast next week, just in case you don't make it all the way through the episode. I wanted to say that now. No podcast next week because we are traveling. And later on in the episode, I'm going to announce the winner from the last podcast. You may also notice a sense of urgency in this podcast because, one, I have a bit of a cold. In case you can't tell, I have already had 2 negative COVID tests, so thank goodness. But I do have a cold. Yesterday, I was feeling really sick, and I stayed in bed and knit most of the day, which is great because now I have stuff to show in the podcast. I'm feeling a lot better today, but it's still hard to kind of like talk and knit. Anyway, second thing, Kent may or may not be heading back right now with Chick-fil-A for both of us. So that's going to bring a sense of urgency to the podcast because I like food and I want to eat. Anyway, don't worry. We still have plenty to talk about today. I am wearing one of my baseball tees. I love baseball tees. I think they're really cute. From Arkansas Yarn Company. I went there last fall when we were visiting Arkansas. It was like our first post-COVID little trip out of the state. And it was a great time. What part of Arkansas did we go to? I remember it was almost exactly a year ago because it was when the Slipstravaganza make-along was starting, and in 2 weeks, the next West Knits make-along is going to start. So that's kind of, how it's been a year, and I'm kind of like, wow, I can't believe it's been a year already. And also like, wow, what a year it has been. What has changed? Anyhow, why don't we talk about knitting? Okay, what do I want to start with today? Let's start with my long summer cardigan. So I have managed to work just a little bit on each of the 3 sweaters that I'm working on. So I've been doing a lot of sweater knitting lately, which means I still have the same projects to show, but hopefully I can add a little bit more about them each week so that you're not always seeing exactly the same thing. So the long summer cardigan, we were doing a 5-week class and we just had our last class on Monday. It was great. We had so much fun and learned so many things, and it's made me want to do another sweater class where it's kind of like, it was part make-along, part class. Like I did teach quite a bit. I had intended to only make it like a 5th of our time together, and I'm so chatty that it became quite a bit of it, but I think everyone was really happy. They said they learned a lot, so that made me feel good. So this is the long summer cardigan by Joji Locatelli, and I am now truly into my 3rd color. So I am using Moonglow Yarn Company in the her 80/20 base. My main color is Aspen, and my contrast colors are the Love in Stitches Fade Set, which I believe you can still purchase from Moonglow Yarn Company. So if you love pinks, go grab a fade set. As I get more of the pinks in here, I think you'll be able to tell more and more that they're different. There you go. the light has to be kind of good, or else you're like, wait, they are all different and it's looking super nice. So I just got a little bit done from right there from my progress keeper. I'm not really pushing myself on this sweater right now because I've got 2 other sweaters that I want to finish before Rhinebeck. And this one, I really just want to finish before the end of 2021. Like, that's it. I'm not putting a lot of pressure on myself to get anything really done. I think once I finish those other 2 sweaters though, I might try to make it a goal to do 1 repeat every week, which is a lot of knitting because now I've got all the front and the back on here. I think it's 200 something stitches, and the section that I'm in right now with the twisted rib, because it's knit flat, there's twisted pearls in it and it takes quite a while, especially the first row of it. Then I find it a little bit faster. So I might make it a goal after I finish those sweaters to try to get through a repeat each week, which would be 1 section of like color, twisted rib, and stockinette. We'll see. We'll see. Again, no pressure right now. I'm going to be probably changing out this project bag soon because I want to use my float tote here for my shawlography. Right now I have all the pinks inside of it. I just have the whole project here. My projects right now are so big, I have them all like out on top of my yarn shelf instead of tucked away like they normally are. So I'm gonna have to do some rearranging because it's kind of driving me crazy to see everything sitting out all the time. It's like it's always there mocking me, like, work on me, work on me. I want to work on all of you, but I can't. Okay. I'm okay. All right, next project. I have also been working on my Lume sweater. So I got to the point where all of my projects were in a place that were thinking tasks, like very involved, where I need to look at the pattern, I'm switching through things, I'm trying to make decisions. On the next project I'm gonna show, I was correcting something. And so I ended up taking my long summer cardigan with me to a baseball game Monday night because it was the only project that was simple enough at that point. It's in a good, simple spot, repetitive spot. So I don't know, I guess what I'm saying is that I got to like a standstill at one point. Whew, I look sick. I am sick, but that's a good reminder. You need some rest when you're sick. Anyway, I did do some work on my Lume sweater. So this is Lume, and I might be saying that wrong, but it looks like Lume, at least in English, by Sari Nordlund. It is a beautiful colorwork sweater, my very first colorwork sweater. Oh no, sorry. If that cough is too loud, maybe Kent can make it quieter for us. Okay, I'm using this great yarn called Woolstock from Blue Sky Fibers, and the gray color is called Cast Iron. All my projects, by the way, are always linked down below. If I forget a particular project, I just link my Ravelry page, so you should be able to find it. The pink is called Pink Quartz, and I really do try to get my my yarns, there we go, my yarns on there too, so that they're with the project. It's all in one place. So last week I was just about to, there's my marker, it's a cute little teacup. I think this is a Simply Serving marker. I'm not really sure, but I was just about to finish up the color work and then I split for the sleeves. Oh dear. Oh, this is bad. Oh man, y'all are gonna freak out. Okay, well this is bad news. I was just about to say how much I love these stitch holders, but look what happened. One of them came out and all of these stitches right here are live and not on the needle. It's right there. So let me pause and fix this and then we will come back. All fixed. Okay, so luckily I'd only lost like because this is a pretty sticky yarn, it was pretty easy to get my stitches and only 2 of them had really dropped or anything. So Oh, I think this is the problem. I think this has gotten a little loose. So I love these circular stitch holders from Clover. I've got them linked to my Amazon storefront because they're just such a great tool. But what I think happened is I probably pulled on that. Yeah, I think this has become, this little rubber part right here has become kind of loose. So I'm gonna need something else to hold that because I can pull it all the way through here. But then if I widen it, it just comes, I mean, it has to have like a little bit of a pull, but it comes back through. Yeah, actually, I don't think it's loose. I think it's fine. I don't know how that happened. Strange. You do have to be careful, but maybe I could do something else to secure that. Anyway, I have split for the sleeves and I have done some short rows on the back. So the back is a little bit longer, so you can see I've got short rows here in the main color, and then now I'm going to be working around and around and around for not very long because this yoke really comes down quite far. I mean, here's my elbow and it comes down really, really far. So I'm a little nervous as to how that's actually going to fit. I'm worried I'm going to feel like pinned in, you know, like I can't move my arms around. My yoke did come out about an inch longer than my size is supposed to. And I think that's because I went up a needle size. I did need to go up a needle size for the stitch gauge, but I didn't really take into account the row gauge. So this is what can happen when you don't properly gauge swatch. I mean, I did do quite a decent gauge swatch because I have it right here. I did my stockinette actually I did something with both. I did this swatch with the same needle size for both and realized that my color work was tighter, so I just went up a needle size without re-swatching. So this is my own fault, but I'm hoping it's gonna end up okay. I am going to be trying this on again. I've already tried it on once with just the yoke. I'm gonna try it on again once I get a few inches on the body and just see how it all looks together. In the worst case, I would need to rip back and maybe take out some of the like color work and just do a little bit of stockinette instead, make it a little bit shorter. So we'll see. Again, I'm not very familiar, so I can't, like with colorwork yoke, so I can't really go off of like past experience here, but I'm hoping for the best. And once I do have all that sorted out, the body should go relatively quick. It definitely feels a lot faster now that I'm just in stockinette. And the arms have a bit of color work too, so I need to get moving because I don't have a ton of time until Rhinebeck, and I want to get that and this next project finished. So this one has, gosh, where was I when I showed it to you before? I think I was about to work on the back. So it has gone forward and backwards because I've had to make some corrections to it. So this is my butter swatch sweater is what we're calling it. I am designing it with the app Bellish, which is an app where you can kind of like, it's not really, it's for just regular knitters, you know. You can go on and you can pick between hats, socks, sweaters, baby sweaters, and kind of choose different things like the size, the stitch pattern, the yarn you want to use, and it spits out a pattern for you. It generates it for you. And so I am doing that, and then I am changing some things about the pattern to customize it for me. So I went with the basic V-neck cardigan, dun, 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 and then I have made some adjustments. So I am doing my own stitch pattern, which is just a broken rib, and I'm taking really good notes on my Ravelry page about how I'm changing this. I've added on a border, like an edging, so that I don't have to go back and pick that up later. I'm just doing a lot of different things, and because I'm changing things, sometimes it doesn't work out right. So I finished the backs and the front. Yeah, I think I was down here in the back because there's my cute little pumpkin marker, which I think is also from Simply Serving. Adorable. So I finished the whole back, and I finished the front, and I 3 needle bound off them together, and I tried it on, and I was like, no. So what had happened is because I was following the pattern, but I'd also changed stuff, my decreases for the neck, for like the V-neck, started right here, and they were like super abrupt and they just looked really weird. And so then the fronts kind of curled in. They just didn't look right. So I decided I would rather take the time now to take it back, make it look good, because I would rather take the time to fix it and make something that I love than just keep going, because I want to just keep knitting and I don't want to take out the work I'd already done. And honestly, I spent a lot of time knitting yesterday, but it did go faster than I thought. And I've already refinished the first front and started on the second front. So now, it's so hard to show this. Now, I started the decreases a lot earlier and I did them every 4 rows instead of every 2 rows. So I have a nice subtle decrease here, and then I just started doing that on this side. I bet I finished this tonight. Not the sweater, but the front, and bind everything off. And I want to get the sleeves going, and then this sweater, I'm going to try to get both sleeves going at the same time, which will mean I have 4 balls of yarn, which is going to make this project a stay-at-home project. But I'd rather do that and just get the sleeves done and have this sweater like ready to go for Rhinebeck, because it's one of my Rhinebeck sweaters, and the Lume too. I've got a lot more work to do on that, but it's going so well. It's so cozy. It feels so good. It's going to be like my go-to cardigan, I can just tell, for this winter. Oh, and when I did try the sweater on, I got to see that the length is really perfect. The body is fitting perfect. The armholes are great. They're not too big. They're not too small. So I did learn a lot of good things from trying it on, and I will try it on again once I get the sleeves back together. I don't know, did I take a picture? I might have taken a picture of, I wasn't feeling well, which is why I didn't get on Instagram and like explain anything. Yes, okay, good. So wait, yes, okay, I posted on Instagram. What? Okay, so anyway, when I fix it, I'll do a comparison picture and you can see what I was talking about. Yarn wise, I am using Miss Babs Kunlun, held together in the colorway Oyster, held together with Madeline Tosh Mohair and Knitty City Lights. So 2 yarns held together, and it is just looking so, so good. When we're in not the best lighting, this reads kind of like red and blue, but when we're in really good lighting, you can tell that the mohair is pink. And I love it. It's my favorite project right now, for sure. And it's just like an easy one. It's such an easy pattern. So that's going really super great. I have one other project, my socks that I am working on. Now I am changing my basic sock recipe. I am really trying to make like the best fitting socks that you can make for yourself, because why not make socks that fit really, really well? And so because of that, they're not just like my normal cast on and go kind of socks. Like I'm kind of having to stop and try different things out. And so they're not going like as fast as normal, but I did knit half of a sock in the last week. It's not too bad. We had a lot of out and about stuff going on. So I'm still doing my Fish Lips Kiss heel that I love. I'm trying out some different toes and it's going really nicely. Let's see how this one does. So I've learned that I need a stretchier cast on now that I'm reducing the amount of stitches that I cast on, because my socks were like way too big. Okay, so now they fit like a glove. I mean, they just fit so good and they go on, but I need a stretchier cast on. So I'm learning this new cast on. And I can't wait to share it with you guys soon. I have to test it out first. So I haven't cast on the second sock yet, and this one's just like, it's ready to bind off. It's perfect now. I'm really pleased with it. But I didn't want to do the grafting while I was out and about. So I need to get these started so that they can be easy on the go knitting. And this yarn, let me pull out. Just like jumping out of my cozy here. This yarn, so pretty, is from Ruby and Roses, and it's called Bundle Up. Ruby and Roses Bundle Up. I've broken the label, but the green is called Conifer. And I'm really enjoying working with this yarn. It's my first time working with Ruby and Roses, and it's great. Okay, one more project that I haven't started yet, but I did get the yarn all wound out for. If you saw my vlog on Tuesday, you saw me wind up this yarn. So I am going to be starting this project soon. These are going to be socks for one of my guy friends, and he's like super nice to me and Kent and everything. He lives just across the street from us, and he picked this yarn out for his own socks. It is a super nice color, and it is perfect for this time of year because it is called Spooky Harvest. So this is from Stitch Together Studio. Colorway is from October 2020, and it is called Spooky Harvest, and I think it's going to make some really great socks. So I had him, or we were over there last week, and I measured his foot and everything, and so I'm ready to make him some socks. I think I might get the bundle up socks started and his socks started, so I have 2 pairs ready because we are traveling again next week, and I'm gonna need plenty of like easy knitting for out and about. So if I can get the socks started, then they will be ready to go. So that's why I wanted to show you that this week, because hopefully I'm gonna have it started the next podcast that you see. By the way, there are 39 days until Halloween. I don't know if that's showing up. So technically that countdown starts at 31, but as many numbers as I can make, I'm making them. We have all of our Halloween decorations out, which isn't a lot, but we have them all out because we love to see them. All right, let's do questions. If you ever have any questions for me that you want answered on the podcast, just know that there's gonna be a couple weeks delay because I am getting to them in chunks of 5 to 6 questions, and sometimes that means there's a little bit of a delay. So I am still answering questions here from the middle of the month. All right, let's dive in. We've got some good ones today. I am gonna start with Emski 92. Hi Natalie, I'm on my 2nd sock ever and I've come across a slight problem that I can't find the answer to on Google. I finished my heel turn on my sock and I'm using the magic loop method, but my needles are... Let's just start that question over since Toaster got really loud. Okay. Hi Natalie, I'm on my 2nd sock ever and I've come across a slight problem that I can't find the answer to on Google. I finished my heel turn on my sock using the magic loop method, but my needles are facing the right, with the right side of my work facing me. Online, I can see that if the wrong side was facing me, my needles face right, I could purl across and everything would be a-okay. But with the right side of my work facing out with my needles in the wrong direction, surely if I knit across, my needles will face left, but my work will be wrong side facing out. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I'm getting a little confused. I know what you mean, but I got confused just reading that myself, so don't worry, I'm gonna explain here. What have I done wrong? As I said, my first sock was fine. Thanks in advance for your help. My only thought is to park the stitches, take my needles out, and rethread the right way. Okay, so let me try to visualize this. So it sounds like to me, you have done a heel flap and gusset, right? And you just did the heel turn, and your right side, the stockinette stitch side of the sock, is facing you, and your needles are facing to the right, okay? That is correct, as far as I can tell. The right side should be out. The right side should be facing you, because facing means it's like the closest to your chest, and your needle tips are facing the right. So that sounds correct to me. I don't know if I'm understanding it wrong, but it sounds right. It sounds right to me. When you finish the heel flap and gusset and a heel turn, typically you knit across your last few stitches. The knit side should be facing you. Your needle should be facing to the right. Oops, sorry. Your needle should be facing to the right. You take your back needle out and get ready to knit. You knit across the stitches and then you start picking up with the heel flap and gusset. So that sounds right to me. I don't know if it just like looks really funny or something, but hopefully you got that sorted out already. If I'm missing something, please let me know, because to me, that all sounds totally correct. I know somebody else responded and said, maybe you can push the knitting through so the right side is facing out. But when you said the right side is facing you, that should mean that the right side is out. So I'm a little confused, to be honest. I'm a little confused. But hopefully you got it all sorted out. Sometimes some things we just have to see. And if that's happened to you before and you can help Emsky out, let her know. All right, here's another sock question from JLP12321. Hi, I'm a newish sock knitter. I am knitting Crazy Sock Lady's morning coffee socks with a beautiful hypnotic yarn. The leg has large diagonal pooling, but when I pass the heel flap and gusset, a lovely irregular stripe emerged. Can I rip out, yikes, and start in a different place to achieve the striping? And will it start pooling again after the heel flap and gusset? Thanks. What a great question. These are the kind of questions, just like Emsky was saying before, you can't Google this stuff. Well, maybe you can try, but it doesn't always show up. So pooling is where the colors in your yarn kind of gather in different places. Sometimes they pool in like a blob. Sometimes, like this person's, they're going in a diagonal. Sometimes they will micro stripe where there's like tiny little stripes. It's kind of hard to predict what yarn is going to do, and it really honestly depends on the number of stitches, the circumference that you're knitting in the round, and your gauge. So all of these things can change the way that the yarn pulls. I've even seen people who have knit, the same person, knit 2 socks with the same stitch count and the same needles, and the yarn came out differently in each sock. It's the same yarn. And it's just because there could be slight differences in the way that they were knitting from one sock to the other that changed the gauge, that then changed how the colors were falling around. So my best advice for you is that you probably won't be able to change and control that pooling to make it stripe the way that you want, because I think it was striping because you had fewer stitches. Therefore, that same color length that was going around the sock was able to like stack up when it was going in shorter rows back and forth. So unless you change your stitch count or your needle size or something, you're probably going to get a similar result. My guess is that as you go onto the foot, it will not pool diagonally for a little bit, but then eventually, once you get back to your same stitch count, it might start doing that diagonal pooling, because that's the way your yarn is behaving when you, with your gauge, knit that stitch count. Somebody else could knit that same yarn, same needles, same stitch count, and get a different result just because of their gauge. Don't be surprised if you knit the second sock and it turns out different. This is why I really don't care for variegated yarn very much. It's just not a style that I really like anymore. And I really like all over color and speckles because it's more predictable, and we all know that I like things to match. But honestly, if it's doing something that you like, it's fine. If it doesn't bother you, it's fine. But I don't think it's worth the effort of ripping it out and trying to start it over and trying to control the pooling. You just have to let it do what it's going to do. The next question is from Clow8088. What? Hi, Natalie. I love your method of knitting over ends. Do you have trouble with the ends popping out when you use superwash yarn? Thank you, Sherry. Okay, good question. So I love to, when possible, knit over my ends. I have a tutorial on how to do that. I think I talk about it a lot because it's seriously such a time saver, especially if you are going to be knitting shawlography coming up. You might want to try this. Stephen West has a similar but different method where he twists his yarn. He calls it Weave and Steven, which is super cute. So if my method doesn't work for you, try Steven's method or look at both and pick the best one, the one that works best for you. but I love being able to knit over my ends. Saves me so much time. So I make sure to do this for like 2 to 3 inches. So like I do it like this much. If I'm doing this on a sock, I'll do half the sock or most of the, for like half of a sock. I do it for a long, long time so that when the very end of it kind of pops up a little bit, because it does, especially in superwash yarn, it's not going to completely come out or unravel. This is something that I haven't had an issue with like the entire end coming out ever, but does the very end of it kind of pop up a little bit? Yes. But it's on the inside of a sock or the back of a shawl, and it doesn't, like, I've never had it really come through to the right side and bother me in that way. So I don't tend to worry about it. I will say that, so I'm doing that method on this sweater because I'm changing colors a lot. Let me see if I can find it. It would be here on this side. Okay. So here on this side, see how a lot of my ends are like 2 to 3 inches in? Here, here, here. That's because I've knit over them. And I'm planning to just snip, 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 and not do another thing with those. Will they kind of poke out on that wrong side? Yes. Will they come through to the right side? Maybe one will. I just poke it back through to the right side. But I've never had them come all the way out before. So I would not worry about it too much, but if it is going to bother you that the like tiny little end pokes out, then you might want to consider another method or kind of secure that end. I do not tie knots in my knitting most of the time. Okay, next question is from Scrappy Z. Hi, Natalie. I look forward to your weekly podcast and I'm learning so much. Oh, good. That's awesome. My question is regarding provisional cast-ons. I seem to be struggling with the live stitches after unraveling the single crochet strand. The pattern requires me to take the live stitches and to knit one, purl one, but the live stitches don't look right. Even when I untwist the stitches, the connection between the new live stitches and the ribbing is not smooth. What am I doing wrong? Thanks for your help. Such a good question. So it sounds like you are doing a provisional cast on, knitting in 1x1 rib, then coming back and taking out your provisional cast on and knitting in 1x1 rib in the other direction. So what's happening is your knits and purls are not lining up. That's because a provisional cast on is not aligned with, okay, so when you knit in 2 different directions, like the direction going up and the direction going the opposite way is a half stitch off. I don't really know how to explain why. The words are not coming to me today, but they just are, and that's why it's not looking right. So your ribbing is not going to line up with a provisional cast on, unfortunately, because of that half stitch difference. It's kind of like, okay, so knit stitches are V's, right? They're V's like this, and it's V's next to each other. But if you turn your knitting upside down, you also get V's, but they're in the opposite direction. So if you have like a V here and a V here, and then you look at your knitting the other way, see my thumbs? Half stitch from here, half stitch from here. They're like V's the other way. I don't know how to explain it. Never mind. It's not making sense. It's not making sense. It's a half stitch off. That's why you're having that problem. You're not doing anything wrong, but if you want to change it so it lines up, I don't know what you're making, so I don't know if it's really important to have a provisional cast on or if it would be okay to have a selvage there, so a little bit of a ridge on the wrong side. If you want everything to line up perfectly, I would cast on with a long tail, knit your ribbing, and then come back and pick up stitches to go the other direction. That way you can pick up right in the center of each knit and purl stitch and then go in that direction and everything will line up beautifully. If you can do that and it really matters to you, which it sounds like it does, go ahead and do that. Obviously you've already done the provisional cast on, your stitches are live, so you could just bind off those stitches and then re-pick them up, kind of like you had started with a regular cast on. Make sure to bind off in pattern. Man, it's still not gonna look right, is it? I would honestly just not worry about it. A half stitch off, I mean, I don't know where this is gonna be on this item, but I wouldn't worry about it too much. Like if it's an infinity scarf or something, like just put it at the back of your neck. Like it's very normal to have a seam. So at this point, I wouldn't worry about it, but if you make the item again, you could try that with a regular cast on and then pick up and everything will line up much better. Last question today is from Haruka28. Hi, this is my first time doing a sweater. It started in circular, it started in the round and from the bottom to the top, and in the middle I started working it flat, but I noticed that my stockinette stitch is different from the circular part. Do you know why this happened and how to fix it? I already frogged it like 5 times. Thank you in advance. English is not my native language. Sorry if I made mistakes. You did an awesome job with your English, so don't worry about that at all. Okay, we have a photo here so that you can see. This is very helpful. I'm so glad you provided this photo. So the sweater started in the round. Everything looks amazing. This is a super cute pattern, by the way. And then this person started working the sweater flat, back and forth, and you can see that the stockinette stitches don't look quite right. They kind of look unruly, but if you look really close, you can see that every other row, the knit stitches almost look twisted, kind of. I can't really tell if they're twisted or if it's just, no, I think they look twisted. They look twisted to me. That's what they look like. It looks like every other row the stitches are twisted. So I have 2 theories. One, when you're working purl rows, because in stockinette you were knitting everything, right? One, when you're working the purl rows, perhaps you are wrapping it in the opposite direction. So you need to wrap the other way. Second theory is maybe you are knitting into the back loop or wrapping your knit stitches the opposite way. There's something definitely going on. Sorry. My throat is getting scratchy and I just got a little bit of ice. There's something definitely going on that's making this difference between stockinette, and my guess is it would be the purl stitch, but it might be the knit stitch. So what I can suggest for you is to look at a basic knit and a basic purl tutorial. I've got both knitting and purling in continental and English style, so you can look at both of those and see if you are working the stitches the same way, if you're wrapping them the same way, if you're going into the stitch the same way, and find what the difference is. My guess is you're going to find that it's either in the wrap or like how you're wrapping the stitch, wrapping the needle, or in how you're inserting your needle for either knit or purl. Probably purl, but I'm not 100% sure. I do see this a lot when I'm on Instagram, and there was a time that I asked everyone on Instagram, I'm like, is it rude to point out to somebody that their stitches are all twisted? I usually see this with crocheters that learn to crochet first and then learn to knit, and they learn to knit maybe on the internet or something, and nobody in person has looked at their knitting, or maybe they did and they didn't say anything to them. But I'm like, I think that you deserve to know if something is off on your knitting. And so I will tell people. So I think this is amazing that you noticed it enough to be like, something isn't right. So take the time to look at those different video tutorials and see if you can figure out the difference in how you're working a knit and purl stitch and how the person in the video is. And I will link mine so that you can see mine and compare, and then you'll get it sorted out and it will look so much smoother. You're going to be amazed with the difference. All right, that was great. Lots of questions answered today. So let's go on to some news. I actually have quite a bit of news, so I'm going to go through it kind of fast, but I'll have links for stuff below. And I want to make sure I include those knit and purl tutorials for you, Haruka. Okay, first announcement, make-alongs. The fall garment make-along is still going on. We are in month 2. I announced the winners last podcast episode, so if you missed it, go back and look there. At this time, I haven't gone back and updated Ravelry or Instagram. I really need to do that. But most of the winners have already contacted me. I think I'm waiting on like one person. And I'm not doing any project features this week, but maybe next week, just because I have a lot going on and my voice is a little tired today. So Fall Garment Make Along, continuing on, it is going to end, I think October 9th is the end of this month installment. Hold on. Turn off. There we go. And we will have a 3rd month kickoff on Sunday, October 10th at 2 p.m. on YouTube, if I'm getting the dates right. It's definitely on Sunday. Next Make Along announcement, the Shawlography Mal. So Shawlography is not my Make Along, it's Stephen West's Shawl Knitting Make Along that is starting October, there's so many Octobers, I think it's October 8th. It's a Friday. And I am hosting a Discord group for this Make Along. We already have 75 knitters in it. It's going to be so much fun. We are just encouraging each other, helping each other, sharing our progress, sharing our yarn. Right now we're showing off our yarn and our kits and like getting each other's opinions. Should I use this? Should I use this? We have a lot of people knitting from stash, which is awesome. We have some people who bought the kits, some people who bought from yarn stores, and it's just fun to see everything. We've got not beginners, but like first time West Knit shawl knitters, seasoned West Knit shawl knitters. Anyway, it's going to be a blast and I would love to have you come join us. It's just $5 and it goes the entire duration of the Make Along plus 2 weeks after the last clue. So again, it's just community support and fun on Discord, which is a community chat app. So come and join us. Last Make Along announcement, starting October 1st, because I'm not going to be podcasting next week, I want to say this now. October 1st is the start of the Spooky Socks Mal. So both, this is hosted by Whitney of Moonglow Yarn Company and then myself and Kay, the Crazy Sock Lady. This is my kit from Moonglow Yarn Company. It is called the Haunted Rose Garden Sock Set. I didn't check before this, but hopefully it's still available. I'm not 100% sure. I have yet to decide what sock pattern I'm going to make, but we are casting on August 1st. Kay has a super bright color. I believe her main color is like a really dark charcoal black, and then charcoal/black. And then her colors are brights. They're so fun. It's like neon green and purple and blue and orange, and they're really fun. So I know some people grabbed both kits, or you can like pick which one you love, and we're going to cast on and knit socks together in October. It's going to be really, really fun. So make sure you're following at Moonglow Yarn Company so you know everything that is going on with that Make Along. So 3 Make Alongs in the making. All right, what else? A reminder, no podcast next week, no videos next week. We're going to be traveling, more on that later. New video this week, I have a vlog from our trip to Texas. So just some travel stuff, some of the things we were doing, what I was knitting on while I was there. It premiered on Tuesday, which was a lot of fun. I always love chatting live with everybody. And then also on October 1st, the membership, the Love and Stitches membership is reopening. It opens up every month from the 1st to the 3rd. So if you have been waiting to sign up, come and join us. We have so much fun in October. The events right now are looking like it's going to be something around Rhinebeck. I'm hoping to have enough cell service at Rhinebeck that I can do something live with my members. And then we're going to have a Halloween movie night. We're going to be doing some extras with the Fall Garment Make Along and Spooky Sock Make Along. And then we always have our Discord again, which is a chat community. And we have our member-led Zooms every day of the week. So there's always somebody to chat with about knitting and talk to about knitting. It's a lot of fun. I love it. So that's opening up October 1st. Oh, you know what? I didn't write this down, but I forgot. I'm also a sponsor for the Pigskin Party, which is Boston Jen's Make Along. So if you are participating in that, I believe you can get extra points if you use any of my patterns. So much. This is like the season of make-alongs. There's so much going on. Okay, let's get to what you really want to hear about, which is this make-along, or this giveaway make-along. Okay, so this is a beautiful bag from Cabana Berry Designs. Her Etsy shop is something different, so I'll make sure to link it down below. But it's such a well-made bag. I'm not taking it out of the packaging again because I showed it off last week when I asked you to share your favorite Halloween costumes. So I've got a winner. We had over 300 comments, which is incredible. And the winner is Carla Quigg. And this is what she said. My favorite costumes were the ones I made for my kids a few years ago. Daughter was Doc McStuffins, and my son was a boy in a cage being carried by a gorilla. I thought that was pretty cute. Okay, so that was a random pick. I just randomly picked somebody. So Carla, if you will, send me your address, please, and I will ship that bag off to you. Just send me an email at natalie@knittynatty.com, and I will get that off to you ASAP before I head out of town. Now, since that was a random one, I did go through, did not read all of them, I will be honest. It was a lot of comments, but I did kind of glance through and I saw a couple of funny ones, so I wanted to share some honorable mentions here. This one is from Laura. My favorite Halloween costume is one that I made myself of a blue flip phone. It flipped just to cover the buttons and my face came out of the screen. I made it with cardboard boxes and my dad still laughs so hard whenever he remembers seeing me fall down in it and unable to stand up again. So I just have one question for you, Laura. Was it a razor? Because I feel like the flip phone era was like a long one and there were so many flip phones, but the one that stands out is the razor phone. So just curious, was it a razor? Was it a Motorola? I have to know. And then this one was so great. I think you'll all love this one. This is from Jane. My favorite Halloween costume is being a yarn ball with big wooden needles in it. That was so much fun and everyone said that it was me for sure. I love that. That is so cute. Okay, so I wanted to share with you my favorite Halloween costumes. I think I've dressed up every single year, honestly, just about. And got cut off there. But I wanted to share with you my favorite Halloween costumes. I think I've dressed up every single year and I'm 29 years old. So that's a lot of costumes. And I feel like just like I went to college and I was in a sorority, we did tons of costumes, and then Kent and I going to Disney, we've done tons of costumes, but there is one, this is my favorite, but then I have a couple recent ones to share with you too. There's one that I did last minute. I don't know what we were doing. I think I was in high school or something. We were going somewhere and I needed a last minute costume, like literally we're about to leave. And I decided to be the bottom of a movie theater floor. And I was at my grandmother's house and I got a black trash bag and I cut armholes in it and a head hole and I put it over my head. And then I found random bits of trash around her house, like semi-clean trash. Like I think I got like a candy wrapper and a Q-tip and stuff like that. And I just stuck it all over me. Actually, I don't know why there would be a Q-tip in the movie theater. That's pretty gross, but anyway, I probably found some popcorn, but mostly like candy and stuff, and I just stuck it all over me, and I was the bottom of a movie theater floor. That's one of my favorite costumes. It's one that I remember the most because I had to like make it like that. But I've always been somebody who's made, like not sewn my costumes, but like picked out different elements instead of buying like a pre-made costume. We just always did that growing up. I don't really know why. And now it's like, I don't want to buy a store-bought costume. I want to like take the elements and make it my own. So in the past few years, Kent's family and myself, we've gone to Disney for Halloween, not usually on the night of Halloween, but sometime in that area. And we do the Halloween party and we dress up and we have had so much fun. So in 2018, Kent was Cruella de Vil, and he looked really nice and really dapper. And he even had like that long cigarette holder thing. And myself and my mother-in-law and one of her friends, we were Dalmatians, and we had the cutest makeup and cute hair, and it was so much fun. And then last year, I think is one of my favorite, we were characters from Alice in Wonderland, but we decided to do a gender swap. So Kent was Alice, and he looked really, really good in his vest. It was like that Alice blue, and he had some other elements that were like very Alice. And then I was the Mad Hatter, and so I had like the crazy makeup and the orange hair. I had a hat, like headband, but I don't think I got a picture. I think I have a picture somewhere else of that. But the whole thing, it was so much fun and I absolutely loved it. We are actually going to Disney next week, but we're not doing a Halloween party, so no costumes this year. And I just don't see any trick-or-treating happening here in our apartment. So I don't know, I guess I'm not dressing up this year, but I am definitely in the Halloween spirit. We already have our Halloween decorations out. We've got a ton of pumpkin beer. Like, we are ready for October. So I am definitely all about Halloween. But I really enjoyed your costumes, and congratulations to Carla for winning that awesome prize. All right, let's do a little chat about life. So since I last saw you, our friends have been here. Two of our friends, a couple from Texas that we were really good friends with, came up to visit us and we had a blast. So on Thursday, what did we do on Thursday? Oh, we went to the 9/11 Memorial and Museum. It was a really great museum. I'd highly recommend it if you're coming to visit New York City. So we went through that, and then we ended up going to, I think it's called, oh man, it's the really, really tall building they built to replace the Twin Towers. It's like one something. Why can't I think of it? Oh my gosh. Okay, I can't think of it right now. I'm sorry. My brain is foggy right now. But we went in that building and we went up super, super high and we got to see out everywhere. I had my sock with me, so I took a picture there and it was super cool. We could see our apartment building from the financial district, and it was a really good experience. Something we've never done. Even though we've lived here for over 5 months, we've just never been there. So it was really cool to do that. What is it called? Oh, I can't remember. That's going to drive Kent crazy too, that I can't remember that. But sometimes when you start talking, you just can't remember things. And then on Friday, we went out to Brooklyn and we went to a couple different breweries, which was really cool. And on Saturday, we had like a big old football day, and we went to different bars that, like, if you are a big college football fan and you go to a big city, typically you can find a sports bar that kind of like hosts that team. And especially here in New York City, pretty much all of the major teams you can find, like, okay, this is the Oregon bar, that's the one that we like to go to, or this is the whatever bar. So our friends went to 2 different colleges. So we went to the Oklahoma bar for one of them, we went to the Iowa bar for the other one, and then we ended the night by going to the Oregon bar for Kent. Even though he went to SMU, he's a big Oregon fan, and it was a lot of fun. And I took this sweater around with me all day that day. If you were following me on Instagram, I was posting real-time updates on how much I was getting done, and I got so much done, because when you're just sitting somewhere and like drinking a beer, was I drinking that day? I don't even think I was drinking that day. I was just drinking like soda waters, and I'm just like knitting, and it was a great time. I had a lot of fun. I think on Sunday, what did we do? We really didn't do anything. One of the friends was leaving that day, and then the other stayed with us for a few more days, but all 3 of us, Kent and the friend and I, we were all working. So like, Kent was on his computer, I'm on my computer in our bedroom, and our friend's on the couch, and we were just like worked during the day. Then we went to a Yankees game Monday night, and we just had a really good time. It was great. So that last friend just went to the airport, and Kent and I have our apartment back to ourselves again, which is great because Toaster and I are used to having a little more time to ourselves in the bed when we go to bed. So we're excited about that. Kent usually falls asleep like on the couch watching TV, and we get to chill for a little longer. So, I mean, like literally right now, Toaster is asleep on Kent's pillow. And a lot of nights, because I go to bed much earlier. Look at that crazy thing. I will get this blanket out and I'll put it over Toaster and I'll put it over me, and we go to sleep. And then Kent says, sometimes he's just like, oh, well, whatever. Guess I'll sleep on the couch. Like, it's so funny. It's so cute. So coming up, we are going to Florida next week. So I am taking a break. I'm taking some time off, and I'm not going to be posting any videos, but I'll probably still be posting on Instagram, especially if I'm going to be, we're gonna go to Disney World, but I don't know how much. We're really going to see Kent's mom because she lives outside of Orlando now. So I'm going to be doing quite a lot of knitting, I'm sure, and adventuring, but I don't know how much we're going to go to Disney quite yet. But hopefully at least one day. I haven't been since, when did I last go? Did I go in May? I don't remember. And I know that is super privileged, but we just love Disney so much, and I want to get back there. So hopefully we'll get to go at least one day. But it's a quick trip. We're going on Monday. We're coming back on Friday, and then it's October. Which I can't believe it's October. Almost October already. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself because it's like a week and a half out at this point, but I am very excited. So bringing me joy is thinking about our upcoming vacation. This has been a big travel month and fun month for us. September has been awesome. October is also not going to disappoint. And then, I mean, November, Thanksgiving, December, Christmas. I mean, the rest of the year is like a nonstop party. So I'm here for it. I'm excited, and it's going to be a lot of fun. All right. I lasted longer than I thought. It's time for me to go eat my Chick-fil-A. Hope you have a wonderful week. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.